Commercial real estate videos are brought to you by Bull Realty. When your business requires proven performance, contact Bull Realty. And by Arnold Golden Gregory, France Media Inc., Resnick Group, and Andy's Army. Welcome to America's Commercial Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us to lead, learn, and laugh. Learn market knowledge and best practices to lead your company's success. And that's whatever type of company you work with and laugh. I believe we have to have some fun along the way. I'm Michael Bull, your host of the world of commercial real estate. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or comments related to this show or about any commercial real estate endeavors, give us a call. Our phone number is 888-612-SHOW. Our email is info@creshow.com. Or you can catch us on all the social media sites. Our show Twitter account is @CRE_show. Or you can always use smoke signals. Yes, we know how to do that. But today we're talking about retail tenant strategies. We'll look at some of the key issues affecting retailers in this market, including online sales tax fairness, site selection, and some of the important lease issues and other tips and strategies related to retail real estate. Please welcome our first guest, Laurel David, partner with the Galloway Law Group. She works in the zoning and land use, and she's also State Government Relations Committee Chair for the International Council of Shopping Centers. Laurel David, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming in and give us an update on the sales tax fairness issues. I mean, it is a big issue for the real estate industry and for the retailers out there. What's going on? Tell us about Marketplace Fairness Act.
Pleasure. There are actually two bills right now. The Marketplace Fairness Act is in the Senate, and the House bill is called the Marketplace Equity Act. They were both introduced last year. They would require online and remote sellers to collect sales tax from customers who live in states where the businesses have no store or otherwise have no physical presence. And in order to do so, the states would have to streamline their tax collection efforts. So create a uniform system for collection and uniform rules. The purpose of this is so that there's not an undue burden on the retailers that are attempting to collect taxes in many jurisdictions. I think there's something over like 9,000 different tax schemes in the United States. For the states, this represents an opportunity to collect as much as $23 billion. That's an estimate for 2012.
With a B, right?
With a B, yes. And this tax is otherwise not being collected. And remember, this is not a new tax. These are taxes that are due as a consumer. If you or I bought something online and we were not charged the sales tax by that retailer for the online sale, we are supposed to report that in the end of the year on our state income tax form and actually pay that tax directly to the state.
So that means most Americans are guilty of tax evasion, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, no, of course, the other side of the coin is, how do we get caught? But
yeah.
and actually, I'll talk a little bit about one of the state's efforts to actually try and track us all down. But the bills are really aimed at leveling the paying field. If I walk into a store on Main Street and I have to pay sales tax, why shouldn't I have to pay that same tax if I buy something online?
Yeah, and that's important to the retail industry as well, and I think to the local governments and to the people in our communities that we need those businesses to strive. We need them to do well, right?
That's right. I mean, there are 1 out of 11 jobs in this country are linked to the shopping center industry. So it could have a huge negative effect on Main Street and brick and mortar businesses.
Well, if it's approved, what could the result be? What could happen there?
As I said, it could be a collection of $23 billion in foregone sales taxes that are currently not being collected. For the states, this is really important. Obviously, the states are losing revenue. They've got budget shortfalls. And instead of being able to collect the sales tax, they're obviously looking for other ways to close those shortfalls in their budgets. So maybe raising property taxes or looking for other income-generating schemes.
Well, obviously, it's tax that's due, and usually governments are quick to want to collect those. What's the problem? Why is it not happening? Why is this such a big deal? Why is this taking so long?
Well, it stems to two U.S. Supreme Court decisions. The last one was actually in 1992. It's and I'm going to read this: Quill Corporation versus North Dakota. For those of you who are interested in looking it up, the Supreme Court held that absent congressional authorization, no state may require a seller to collect sales tax into a state if the seller lacks a physical presence in that state. Now, remember this decision was in 1992, so that was when catalog sales were big, and I don't think anybody could have envisioned that internet sales would have been such a boon. So obviously because of technology, the marketplace has changed.
Yeah.
Now, to address this problem, National Governors Association and the Conference of State Legislatures has started an initiative. I won't go into the details, but this was the attempt to streamline sales tax collection efforts and rules that I had mentioned earlier. There are 24 states that have voluntarily signed up for this. Georgia, where we are now, is one of them. And they are implementing this legislation, waiting for the Congress to pass their side of the bill, which is the federal bill, to make all the pieces fit together.
And what do you think the timing is there? When will we know something?
They are talking about being able to work out a compromise between the two federal bills, hopefully before the end of the year. So if you're interested in the subject and you are maybe even a brick or mortar business, do continue to lobby your representative or your senator. We need to keep the pressure up, otherwise it could be next year before it is approved.
And who is doing that? Who is supporting this act?
Well, ICSC, of course. There are about 1,700 retailers who are already collecting sales tax over the internet. This is amounting to about $900 million in sales tax going to state budgets. The National Governors Association, as I mentioned before, other trade associations, retailer-based trade associations are also supporting it. One of the biggest turnarounds really has been by Amazon. Amazon was an opponent of the bill. They are now supporting it. They are collecting sales tax in about 8 different states now. That is, I have to say, in fairness to the states, partly because the states have passed some laws which makes it a little bit more difficult for Amazon to take advantage of this loophole in the federal law.
Okay. Well, who is fighting it? If it's supposed to be collected, it doesn't seem fair. Who's out there fighting it? Who's the villain in this, if you will?
Well, there are a lot of people who actually think it's a new tax, which, as I said before, if you have to pay it on Main Street, you should have to pay it online as well. So it's really leveling the playing field. In the current economic and political climate of less taxes, there are a lot of people who say, well, we should address this by basically either abolishing or reducing sales tax overall everywhere. And one of the most vocal critics is eBay. eBay has a lot of its client base are small businesses. eBay takes a great exception to the collection of sales tax being put across the board. They want a sales tax exemption for businesses that generate less than $5 million in annual national revenue. Right now, there are exemptions in the 2 bills. One is $1 million. I think I can't remember if that's the House or the Senate bill. The other one is $500,000. As I say, eBay wants to up that up to a $5 million threshold.
Okay, so it should turn out that if your sales are below those numbers or whatever number is finally decided on, then you're exempt from having to collect it. So you could buy from the really small online source, right, and not pay.
Right, and I think there's certainly a sense that there's that would be fair. The smaller companies obviously generating the smaller revenue There's a lot of paperwork involved in collecting these taxes, and I think they want to make sure these small businesses don't bear additional costs.
Right, that makes sense. Well, what are companies doing to prepare for the potential adoption of these acts?
Like I said, Amazon has already started collecting sales tax in about 8 different states. They're going to start collecting in New Jersey and Virginia next year. So for those of you in New Jersey and Virginia, watch out. And then Indiana, Nevada, and Tennessee in 2014. And actually, I should note that when they introduced the collection of sales tax in Texas, they did a study and found that it did not have any effect on the amount of online sales that were generated in that state. And also, an interesting twist to this, I think, is that the market demand is starting to respond to the inevitable approval of sales tax fairness. There are about 4 or 5 different companies out there that offer software that would help businesses collect this sales tax. The software is integrated directly to their shopping cart, and it would be at no cost to that business to collect the tax because the state would reimburse them for the collection of the taxes.
Okay, and where's a site that they can get more information?
www.21stcenturyretail.org. That's 21ST, 21stcenturyretail.org.
Laurel David, thanks for joining us. After a quick break, we'll have more guests joining us and more on retail tenant strategies. I'm Michael Bull, and this is America's Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.